Nitro.
Try to stop my praise. You can get it too. Devil in my way. You can get it too. Meet me in the cave. You can get it too.
I'm Dr. Nahshon Nicks. Thank you so much for tuning in, tapping in, and leaning in to the Dr. Nahshon Nicks Show. Today's topic is shifting from bullet points to bulletproof. I want to talk about some very serious issues that may hit home for some of us. And then once again, I'm going to ask for those of us that this may not pertain to just empathize and see how you can be a part of the solution. Without further ado, I'm going to ask if you would please show some love to our guest, Miss Gwendolyn Hyman. Welcome. Is it okay if I say Miss Gwen?
That's fine, thank you.
Yes. Miss Gwendolyn, can you please share with our listening and viewing audience the name of your nonprofit?
Our nonprofit is Heals Network, Inc., helping elevate lives selflessly.
Helping elevate
Lives.
selflessly.
Yes.
All right. And then how was it founded? What was it founded on?
It was founded out of love. It was founded out of pain. It was founded out of grief. We lost a loved one in 2012, and we stood silent since 2012, grieving and trying to get our footing back. So we decided that it was time to wake up and no longer keep silent and speak out against the gun violence that's going on in our community. Because so many young people's lives are lost each and every day from gun violence. It's a pandemic, and it's not getting any better. It's only getting worse. And we saw the need that we need to intervene to try to help deter some of the violence, some of the gun violence that's going on in our communities.
All right. The way you opened up is you said we. I need to know, who is this individual to you?
It's my son. His name was Demetrius Alexander Hyman. He was lost. We lost him in gun violence 2012, June 12th, 2012.
Yes. And my deepest and my most sincere condolences.
Thank you.
I've done some research. They say for black males out of any other nationality in America, they're more likely to experience gun violence by the age of 25, more so than any other nationality in that particular demographic in the United States of America. And what I want to do is I want to acknowledge your son, Demetrius.
Yes.
Okay. And with this show and with the families that I have encountered who have lost loved ones to gun violence, I want to make this very clear. I love calling their name because by calling their name, even though they're not physically present, their legacy still lives.
Yes, yes, indeed.
You know, we can say amen.
Yes.
and all that means is so be it. And
Yes.
because, and I thank you for having the courage and the commitment to keeping that legacy of Demetrius alive in love.
Yes.
And matter of fact, yesterday you had your first event. Can you share with our listening and viewing audience of what yesterday's event was about?
Yesterday's event, it was our first event for the Heals Network, Inc. It was about sharing loss. We had speakers, survivors of, we had domestic violence and with gun violence. We had survivors to speak out against gun violence yesterday. It was phenomenal. We had women from all walks of life that came out and gave their testimony of how they lost their child, how they were grieved, how they were helped, and how they were not helped, and lack of resources, and everything that they needed, it wasn't there for them, wasn't available. And that's one reason we too formed the Heals Network, to help people that need help, that don't know how to ask for help, that don't know how to find aid or assistance, or don't have a voice. We want to have the voice for the voiceless people that are not able to speak out. So that's our main mission.
Yes, and I love that. Being able to amplify voice is very huge. And then at the same time, making resources accessible and available. Even if it's nothing but a listening ear, you'd be surprised how that helps de-escalate a situation immediately. And and I want to call out a Bible verse, if you don't mind. When you hear, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds," what does that say to you?
That means to me that we have to stand up and fight against what's going on. That our weapons are not they are physical weapons, not carnal, what you said. That we need to stand up and rise up and fight against what's going on in our communities and our where we live each and every day.
And one of the tools that I use, Miss Gwen, is martial arts. Okay. Martial means military, and just putting in a scientific military strategy to be able to help our youth not necessarily become more violent, but just aware of how powerful they really are. Uh, uh, One of the scriptures that I like also comes from Ephesians 6, where it talks about, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood." I teach our youth that we wrestle with words. And when we're able to amplify our words and communicate our ideas, or even communicate our frustrations, that we want to be able to start and end with respect, trying to build dignity, decency, and determination. When I look at this segment of bullet points to bulletproof, looking at the problem at hand, and one of the things that I would like to do is see how we can help turn trigger fingers into healing hands. When I look at healing hands, there's this African proverb that says that if a child does not feel the warmth of the village, they will burn it down. They will burn it down. So how can we use our hands to help heal from your perspective?
Let me also bring out this Bible verse: "Train up a child in the way that he should go, and he will not depart from it." So we got to first start training up our children in the way that they should go. That's a lot that's going to help with the community, because the kids growing up now with no sense of pride, no sense of directions. It all begins at home. So we got to start training our children, teaching our children. We got to learn how to communicate. Like you said, we got to open our voice. The voice is a mighty instrument, and if we don't open up and speak out, it's no way we can solve anything. We got to open up, speak out, and do things that can change. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yes.
So we got to open our mouths, speak up, speak out, and do something. Be proactive about doing things.
And I love that. One of the aspects that I look at that is like your event that you did with the Hills Network. It gave a place to where, you know what, my loved one may be gone, but they're not forgotten.
Right.
And then if I can share little tips or insights of how this was transpiring, like these are some of the things that I noticed, but I may not have known how to address it at that time. So granted, we can use those lessons to help empower the community. We can help empower the village. And we're about to go to our break. I want everyone to stay locked in, tuned in, and tapped in, and we'll be right back after these messages. Wealth and Worth Blueprint. Wealth and Worth Blueprint. Visit sixfigureboss.com. Numeric 6, spelled out, figureboss.com. Sixfigureboss.com. Welcome back to the Dr. Nahshon Nicks Show. We're talking about shifting from bullet points to being bulletproof. And one of the aspects that we looked at it was the problem at hand, which was turning from trigger fingers into healing hands. And we want to do it through making sure that folks are building an awareness. We want to be able to counter and reduce domestic violence. We want to be able to counter and reduce gun violence. I do look at one of the affirmations we teach our children, Miss Gwen, is the greatest control is self-control. And I do believe that self-control can also lead to gun control. But looking at it from turning proximity into power, they say that most murders happen because of close proximity. But not just close proximity pertaining to distance, but close proximity pertaining to relationship. Going back from a biblical reference with Cain and Abel, the first documented and recorded murder, these are brothers. These are womb mates. And now all of a sudden it goes from a disagreement and discourse to becoming deadly and violent. One of the things that you said, by honoring Demetrius' legacy with the Hills Network, was through love. And do you see how love can be one of the ways that we can turn proximity into power?
Sure. Yes, because that's one of the major commandments God gave us, to love one another, to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. That's the first and the greatest commandment. So we have to love one another. We have to treat one another the same way that we want to be treated.
Yes.
And like you just said, it's most of the time it's someone that you know that's going to cause you harm. So we got to learn how to love one another, to treat one another right. We got to form better relationships with one another. It's all comes down to, like you say, loving one another and doing what we should, treat one another right.
All right. And I want to shift because one of the points that I want to expand on as well is better choices, better tools. It's a old adage that says, to the man whose only tool is a hammer, every problem is a nail. What are some ways that we can incorporate more tools in the toolbox outside of hammers and guns?
Like with your program, this the martial arts program, something that the kids can do after school, so they won't have to be in the streets. Families getting together, like doing things. You can do things that don't even have to cost money, like go to the park, play baseball with your family, do things that can form family bonds, so that your kids won't be out in the streets doing, trying to fit in, because that's a lot of where things happen when kids out in the streets. They're trying to fit in. It's peer pressure. So if you get your family, keep your family kind of close to you. I don't say just like not let them go anywhere, but do family things, do family outings and things like that. That can deter your kids from being out in the street all the time.
I thank you for referencing our program, but I also want to reference you. And by doing that, Micah Thomas, he was the first child that was murdered in 2024. I did thank the sheriff and JSO for making sure that all parties involved with his murder were apprehended. And granted, it doesn't always happen like that. And there are cold cases that are still open. And then resources are limited in that area. But one of the ways that I would like to solicit support is being able to bring your voice to our program. I mean, I would love to have you come and share. I would love to have you come and read. I would love for you just to come and just love on our babies, because I do believe that the Hills Network is not just limited to those who have lost a loved one, but being a part of that village with these babies, watching them progress, and then at the same time providing that counsel. Miss Beverly McLean, the founder of Families of Slain Children Incorporated, I met her in Publix grocery store, and she was staring at me, and I was like, "Ma'am, is everything okay?" And she said, "Yes. You remind me of my son who was taken away from me." Oh. And like, I couldn't help but feel sad and want to embrace her as a son would embrace his mother. And that was the beginning of our relationship. But It's like a lot of times I don't think people know how to ask for help until they know they need it,
Right.
or until the situation has gotten out of hand. And is there any lesson or recommendation for those who can see maybe a child spiraling into the streets, or someone who may be losing grip on their child? Any recommendations that you have for them to say, listen, it's not too late, but these are some of the things that I recommend?
Maybe you can. I would recommend maybe you could try to find a mentor, someone that's expertise in helping young kids, mentors or after school programs or Boys and Girls Club. That's a good outlet for kids. Any even after school church programs, anything that's going to keep your kids' minds active, that's going to keep them away from the streets and from the violence that's going on. Like you say, even for retired mothers or grandmothers, go into schools, read the kids. Like you said, read the kids. Just volunteer, do whatever you can to help a young child. Say each one teach one. So that would be what I would suggest. You know, it's all types of things that you can get involved with, the mentoring kids. That's for you. You know, you can do personally for your. You know, to help kids.
All right. And now I do want to pull back for just a second before we start getting into solutions. I want to get your thought on this. Hurt people hurt people. How do we counter that? Or what does that say to you? Like, oh, been there, done that, but we don't want this to get out of hand. Hurt people hurt people. What does that say to you? And how can we counter the hurt?
We have to. If someone hurts you, it's the best is to go to that person, try to work things out. If you can't work them out, try to bring someone else in to help work things out. Go to your elders. Go to someone that's not biased, that has no interest in what the conflict is. Talk to people. Just don't just let things fester. You got to communicate. Communication is the greatest thing, the greatest tool that we have. Open your mouth. Ask, if I hurt you and you don't say anything to me or tell me how I hurt you, it's gonna fester. If I tell you how you hurt me, maybe we could just talk it out. Sometimes it's just nothing minute, but if you let it keep festering and festering, it's gonna grow into a big problem. But just confront the situation right away and try to solve it between yourselves.
Yes, I love that. And one of the things that from grandmas are real good with hyperactive boys for some reason. My grandmothers, they knew how to sit you down in the kitchen. They didn't necessarily call it time out or punishment, but what they were doing was giving enough time for that anxiety and that emotion to die out. Come help grandma with this. Come help grandma with that. Come help grandma. And then by the time the dinner over with, you back smiling, laughing. And then grandma say, well, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And then now the communication is there because the cortisol from a medical side has been reduced. And now you're back to normal dopamine levels. And so I do believe that there's healing in that family. There's healing in that home. But if avoidance, Pastor Don Johnson, I believe he said, trauma that goes unaddressed is transferred. And we don't want to keep transferring the trauma from one generation to the next. We want to be able to bring some healing and some closure to that bad boy. Listen, everybody, we got one more segment coming in with Miss Gwen. Please do not leave. Stay tuned, stay down. TeamNitroMMA.com. If you can imagine, where would you be in life without a mentor? Now think, can you see the benefits of martial arts? And then think of the families that can't afford the expense. trying to make ends meet. Well, Team Nitro MMA provides after-school programming and martial arts and mentoring for Alice communities, asset-limited, income-constrained, but employed families in the Arlington community and some of our most at-risk youth. We're asking for your help and your support. Get involved, partner, volunteer, sponsor, donate. www.teamnitromma.com. Hashtag you can get it too. And we're back. This is the closing segment of this episode of the Dr. Nahshon Nicks Show, where we're shifting from bullet points to bulletproof. And we want to close up by seeing how we can find comfort in the community as well as building village raisers. When I think of comfort in the community, those elders, those leaders, in different cultures, they would call them a chief. Whether that is a political voice, an economic voice, a business voice, or a nurturing voice. And once again, we're all in this together. There's a proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And one of my hashtags is stronger together because everybody has a role to play. There's a role for granddaddy. There's a role for papa. There's a role for Mima, for grandma, big mama, my dear. There's a role for uncle. There's a role for auntie, Titi. There's a role for grandson, baby boy, baby girl. Everybody has a role to play in the healing of our city and the healing of our community. This is not just a role for the police. This is a role for us, and being able to lead by an example. When I look at village raising, I look at folks who are willing to make a commitment. And what I see from the Hills Network, they're not saying that they have it all together. What they're saying is they're making a commitment. And what I found out, in the words of Bobby Caldwell, what you won't do to do for love, you tried everything, but you don't give up. I would love to see a city, especially with some of our most vulnerable citizens, where they're making a commitment to love, to live in love, to walk in love, to grow in love. And when we're all committed, I believe many hands makes the load light. Miss Gwen, can you please take a moment and share with our viewing and listening audience? You stepped out on courage and faith through Demetrius Alexander Hyman. Did I get that right?
Yes, you got it. Yes.
I got it right?
Yes, you did.
All right. Even though I did not meet him in person, he matters to me because he matters to you. I know his name because you put his name in the atmosphere. And by putting his name in the atmosphere, you created a network. And last time I checked, a network is not based on one individual, but many. Share with us your vision for the Hills Network and how our listening and viewing audience can be a part of that.
Okay, thank you for that. As you know, we are a newly formed organization, so our vision is to assist and aid victims with mental health issues. We want to try to find resources to help people that are struggling with their mental health issues. We want to help victims with the education. We want to help victims with clothing, with basic human needs. You know, people don't have food or shelter. We want to help with education. We want to help with a lot of things that people don't have the resources to do. Like, for instance, some victims maybe lost a loved one and don't have enough money to do the services. We want to assist with money to help do the service, you know, because that's a toll on someone, and you know, especially if you don't have insurance, and that's something that's no one knows what is going to happen, you know. And we just want to provide resources to help people find agencies that can help them solve some of their issues, that, you know, the problems they need. Maybe with groceries, like I said, food, with shelter, with everyday things of life, electrical bills, you know, just things that people need to survive.
Yes. And I love the vision. I love your objectives. I love your goals because this is kitchen table issue, stuff that folks have to deal with at the kitchen table or in the home on a day-to-day basis. And the book does say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right.
So being able to educate folks on these are resources that are out there. Another thing that I want to share is let's prefix and not suffix. Let's see if we can get it right at the beginning instead of trying to clean it up in the end. Or let's be proactive rather than reactive by being able to identify trends and patterns. Trends and patterns meaning that based on what I'm hearing, based on what I'm seeing, there may be some support that's needed for what I can hear and see. Where you come in, I believe that you can kind of be a bridge of trust. The way that you come across to me, as well as to those on yesterday, when I put out a call to action to give and support, I was hoping, well, maybe we can get to $500, maybe we can get to $1,000, and there were folks that were trying to find creative ways to be able to help and support.
Right.
Because people may not always remember what you say and do, but they will remember how you made them feel. And the way that you made those families feel, whether they lost a loved one to domestic violence or gun violence, they wanted to be able to contribute to make sure that that healing did not just stop with that event.
Right.
And they were willing to commit and invest. With that trust, I'm going to make sure that I share this on all of my social media platforms. And then I'm going to challenge each and one of my followers to do one share and one comment to what touched you in this episode. Or if you would like to honor your loved one, saying, listen, I'm sharing because I want to make sure that my Demetrius name and legacy stays alive. In martial arts, I call it POP, Protecting Our Princesses, in honor of Cherish Periwinkle, Maddie Clifton, Naomi Jones, kidnapped, raped, and murdered. I want to be so proactive that all of our princesses have a fighting chance at success. And let's see how we can lean in to what you're doing. I believe that is Heals.
Yes. Heals Network.
Network 1201 at gmail.com.
Correct.
Is that
Yes,
correct?
Correct.
Heals Network 1201 at gmail.com. And I'm going to challenge you to email, make contact with Miss Gwen and the administration to see how, granted, you may not live in Duval, you may not live in Jacksonville or the First Coast, but there is synergy. One of my mentors is Reverend Dr. Winfred Bell in Los Angeles, California. He started the Silver Lining of Hope after his son was shot because of an individual who was doing a gang initiation. They had to shoot someone. And his son was the person that they targeted. And I noticed that with gun violence, especially when they call it drill rap, when what they do is they have to dehumanize the individual that they're shooting, or they have to dehumanize themselves. What do I mean by that? They will identify as a demon, as a goon, as a goblin. So they take on an alias to hide their humanity. Because in your humanity, it says, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yes.
That's what your humanity does. So you have to hide the humanity in the individual or disguise the humanity in yourself, and we want to make sure that we're bringing out the best in everyone. Hills Network, 1201 at gmail.com. I want to make sure that every child, every man, every woman is living their life according to what the Bible says in John 10:10. Jesus says the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come that they might have life and have it more abundantly.
Yes.
That's not for one of us. That's for all of us. And hashtag, you can get it too. Thank you so much for tuning in, tapping in, and leaning into the Dr. Nahshon Nicks Show. Thank you so much, Miss Gwen, for being my honored guest.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.
I love you, and God bless you.
Blessings.